Or perhaps no member of Congress in the US is more antithetical to the mission of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee than Representative Rashida Tlaib, who faces a primary on Tuesday in Michigan's redrawn 12th congressional district. Tlaib is the only Palestinian American serving in Congress. She's a proponent of the BDS movement, supports conditioning military aid to Israel, and has described Israel as an apartheid state. Well, the United Democracy Project AIPAC Super PAC, which has spent nearly $24.3 million on Democratic primary races so far, has not involved itself in Tlaib's primary battle. AIPAC's lack of spending against Tlaib stands in stark contrast to the money spent aimed at defeating Levine, who has openly highlighted his opposition to BDS and affirmed his support for US military aid to Israel. We're crossing straight to Ariel Kahana, the diplomatic correspondent from Israel Hayom. He's live for us in Detroit, in Michigan. Ariel, thank you so much for joining us. But before we delve deeper into this topic, let's first throw to a quick snippet of Tlaib's competitors' comments, Janice Winfrey, and then we'll come back to you and resume the conversation.
Israel is not so much of an issue for the residents of the 12th Congressional District. What is an issue is our roads, our poor roads, and our bridges that are crumbling right above our heads. What is an issue is our poor drinking water, poor quality of water, our infrastructure, no broadband. Those are the things that are of interest to the citizens of the 12th Congressional District.
Back to you, Ariel. So having listened to those comments, what are your thoughts about this confrontation between the two? How does Israel also play into this race? And is it surprising that the United Democracy Project, which has spent millions of US dollars on Democratic primary races so far, has not even involved itself in Tlaib's primary battle?
Hi, Sarah, and thanks for having me. So, first of all, as you can hear Janice speaking yesterday with me here in Detroit. She's fighting, although she's not backed by AIPAC, but the Jewish community here do try to help her. And I must tell you, I mean, we didn't see the full conversation I had with her. She's fighting. She's saying, I'm fighting for the neighborhood. In her words, Rashida Tlaib is actually not working for the population, for the voters in Michigan, in Detroit. Of course, it will be for the voters here to decide. I would say, as far as I get from talking to people here, that Janice's chances are not high. But, you know, it's democracy. It is a fight. And let's see tonight how it's going to end. Now, going to a question why AIPAC is not involved in this fight, the answer is that a few years ago, AIPAC did try to run a candidate against Rashida Tlaib. It failed, and therefore they decided not to try anymore. But AIPAC is involved, I would say, involved deeply in at least two other races here in Michigan. The one you mentioned is Andy Levine, who is a Congress member from Detroit, and he is in a big fight with Haley Stevens. Levine is Jewish. He is supported by J Street, which I must remind is putting a lot of money as well to support Levine, while Stevens is supported by AIPAC, including a lot of money as well. This fight, Sarah, I must tell you, I show the ads here in the TV. It's quite ugly. Actually, J Street, I would say, is putting some anti-Semitic hints in the campaign, showing, as I'm not saying Jewish money, but, you know, they're putting the slogan of AIPAC and talking about billionaires with black money and so on. It doesn't look good. Now, I can't tell you who is going to win regarding Levine and Stevens. I don't know how it's going to end. I do know there is a big fight by the PACs, as we mentioned, in the Jewish community as well. But maybe another aspect that should be mentioned is that actually Israel is not an issue here for the voters. The fight between the pro-Israel groups and the anti-Israel groups is actually going behind the scenes about the money, about the ads, and so on. But when it comes to the voters here in Michigan, I don't think they're even aware to what's going on in the Jewish community and in the pro or anti-Israel community.
And also, Ariel, just really briefly, when can we expect results on these races?
So hopefully, I'm going to be awake all night, but hopefully it will be at about 10 or even before here in Detroit, which means about 5 a.m. In Israel. Let's hope for good results,